Hello and welcome everyone to another episode. Yes, so I am launching. This is going to probably be one of my last launches as far as the Duna stuff is concerned. I have about 3 or 4 other launches that I actually have planned, but I'm probably going to do most of them off camera because I want my 200th episode to really be focused on basically getting there and basically just all these ships going from point A to point B, and I think that's going to kind of be the gist of the 200th episode. I think I'm not 100% certain as to everything I want to get accomplished that episode, but I feel like that is going to be such a big accomplishment in itself that I really shouldn't be like overly worried about everything else. But at the same time, I do want my 200th episode to be amazing, and I really want to do something pretty awesome, which I think getting a huge amount of stuff all the way to Duna and basically colonizing it all in one trip. It'll be a 90-day voyage or something like that. I forgot exactly how many days it takes to get to Duna. It's like 60 or 90 or something, like Kerbal days. But, you know, roughly that many days, and everything will be there all in one shot, which will be kind of amazing because there will have to be a lot of setup that needs to be done. So I'm really kind of excited about that. I think that's going to be pretty amazing. A lot of my modules, surprisingly, that I will be launching in the following days, and a lot of the stuff that I have is basically going to be reusable, most of it, and that's kind of, you know, I don't mean to say that in like a very loose sense. Like, basically most of the modules that are going to be dedicated for fuel, a lot of the fuel tanks and stuff like that, and a lot of the other tanks and just everything in general, the RCS tanks for the most part. Some of the modules as far as the fuel and engines and getting there, and everything is going to have some kind of purpose, and it's all gonna be used at some point for some things. So this one single module here, this is going to be kind of a big thing to have a fuel base in orbit around another planet, because for the most part I have been pretty much prepared and pretty much always just kind of having a fuel base in orbit around Kerbin. This is going to be the first time I have a fuel base around another planet. So it's going to change things and open them up a lot. The fuel tanks that I have planned on bringing there are going to be pretty amazing in the way that everything is going to unpack itself, which I haven't really fully explained, so you guys don't really know 100% how everything is going to turn out in the end, but it's hopefully all going to work out the right way. The battery charge on this thing, I really hope 40,000 is enough for it to survive a complete Duna night when it's on the dark side in orbit. So I'm not 100% certain on that one. I mean, I'm pretty confident that it's going to be okay. You know, that's a pretty big confident too. My voice even cracked a little bit when I said that, so you guys can know that I am fairly okay with 40,000 battery. But the space station parts, certain things I'm thinking about launching still, and I'm not 100% certain. I thought it would be cool to send the satellite network. I might end up doing that still, but I'm not 100% certain as to if I'm going to actually show the launch of that. A lot of these smaller launches, like the space station core, the initial piece and stuff like that, I might end up just launching that one single piece and not even starting the station. But either way, I mean, it's still going to be a pretty amazing launch. Let's see. Alright, everything's looking good. So let's see if this is stable. Now it should be. I'm fairly okay with this. I ended up kind of moving the engines around a little bit differently than I normally have them. I usually have them just in a 4 kind of configuration where it's just 4 of them right next to each other, well, one's like right here, it's like a cross. So, I mean, this time I did a little bit differently. I really don't think it's going to cause too much problems in anything, so we're getting a lot of crap into orbit, though. I can't wait to get some clear out just all this junk that we got in orbit, because it's just so much. There's the Duna base alpha, the Kerbal fuel tanker, the Kerbal refueler, which I think is empty anyways. And then we have the Duna base alpha solar panels, and I'll set this as a target just so we can kind of get everything roughly in the exact same kind of orbit. But I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know about you guys, but I'm fairly excited. I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical, like I was saying before, but I'm excited at the same time. I really think that everything is gonna really just kind of fall together just the way I want it. But I hate to say that because I'm probably jinxing myself, and it probably isn't going to be ever so smoothly or whatever. Everything is just gonna fail at launch or something. And I should mention too, this thing has a whole bunch of the reaction wheels on it. That's why it's like so like maneuverable. I could just turn it on a dime basically. So let's just get this thing into orbit. I know these couple episodes aren't going to be the longest episodes, which I apologize for. I know some of you really enjoy the longer episodes, or at least stuff that's in the 20 to 25 minute range, or stuff like that, where you can kind of just sit down, have some oodles and noodles, or like a cheeseburger or something, and have something to drink and watch these episodes, because that's kind of like what I like to do. So let's see. Alright, we've achieved an orbit. The one thing I will mention is I ended up taking the best of both of the fuel bases that I have constructed, and one of them was the moon base, and the other one was the Kerbal, the moon fuel depot and the Kerbal fuel depot. And I kind of weighted which one really was better than the other one, and I kind of leaned towards the moon fuel depot as far as just everything. It has just the placement of the lights are so perfect. Everything is just falls together so nicely on it, and I decided to go with that one over the Kerbal one, because of the fact that I was like, okay, well, with the Kerbal one, I basically cut out a lot of the features that I thought wouldn't really be worth having on there, which actually kind of is worth having. So kind of are worth having. Well, I don't know. Let's just go with that. So this is looking pretty good. I really didn't make much changes. I even kept these on here because I thought keeping these would be a somewhat good thing to have. It's always good to have smaller to larger whatever, the docking ports, to be able to interchange them and use them different ways. So you have like a smaller one to a larger one, or a larger one to a smaller one. And I'm going to launch another piece, which is going to be basically a massive size like this, down to just the regular size docking port. Because if I have something like that out there, it kind of helps. I'm sure there will be a need for it at some point, and if I have it, just, it helps out. That's all I can say. So the one thing I will be doing, though, is kind of restructuring it and kind of changing it and making some kind of new design. That will be on the refueler that I launch, which is basically going to be a rehashed Kerbal refueler, and I'm going to probably see if that alone has enough Delta V just to reach all the way to Duna without having to add on to it. So hopefully that works. Hopefully this works. The fuel tanks I am going to be adding on, and certain things I will be adding on before this thing's actual initial launch, and hopefully everything just works out perfectly. So anyways, guys, if you like what you see here, subscribe. There's always more to come. For those of you who haven't noticed, but at the end of this video, you'll see a link in the upper right-hand corner that is to Mr. Plastic Sporks. So go and check out his channel. He does a lot of stuff with Kerbal. He's the feature of the week. And yeah, I will see you next time.